This totally changed how I see the world. It's a really simple idea, but the implications are so weird that it'll keep you up the rest of the night. Go look up Dunbar's number. It is simply a theory that humans have a hard cap on the number of relationships we can maintain in our lives. It is named after an anthropologist named Robin Dunbar who studied primates. And he just noticed that primate brains tended to correlate to the size of the groups they formed, which makes perfect sense. It takes brain power to maintain relationships. And based on the size of the human brain, the number of relationships we can maintain is between 100 and 200. Call it 150. And in fact, he saw that number turn up everywhere. You would see ancient villages and military units and nomadic tribes naturally forming into groups of about 150 members. Any more than that, and they would presumably start to become difficult to manage. And I know for a fact there are people watching this video who have direct experience with something like this, where they were part of a church or a fandom or a Discord server where when it was very small, everything was fine. And in fact, I bet at the beginning you didn't even need rules written down. Everybody just knew each other. But as it grew, it reached a natural tipping point where it stopped being a fun little thing among friends and started to become a cold organization. But all of you are affected by this, and in fact, I've had this theory for decades that a lot of the anxieties you are feeling in your life are due to the fact that modern civilization routinely requires you to interact with groups much bigger than 150. I mean, this is why stereotypes exist. You have to take millions of people and try to boil them down into one person that can fit into a slot in your brain. You've probably run into people who have refused to see you as a whole person because they have already boiled you down into some sort of a caricature. They have a finite number of people that they can see as real, full people. Now think about all those movies you've seen where they have mowed down an entire army of bad guys without a second thought, but when they got to the main bad guy, they're like, no, we must spare him. And did you notice that all of those foot soldiers we weren't supposed to care about were wearing masks? Where if that main bad guy was wearing one, you can bet that it was taken off at the end. It is just not physically possible for us to care about all of these guys. And I know for a fact that a bunch of you have already made the same joke. Some of you have already typed it in the comments. You've said, I don't know 150 people. I'm not even sure I know 15 people. Do me a favor. Sit down and actually write down the total number of people you know. I mean, people that you know a lot about. Some of you won't get anywhere close to 150, but now add all of the celebrities that you know a ton about. And then write down all of the fictional characters that you know a lot about. The ones where you could speak at length about their personalities and their pasts. And as a fun bonus activity, once you've got that completed list, count how many of your relationships are in that second category. The cases where you know a lot about them, but they don't know you exist. Because while you can argue whether or not this is the actual number, I don't think you can argue with the fact that the number is finite.